Hi everyone, and welcome to first project I made with the February Kitaholic Kits. Actually the second. The first one, my camera decided that it wouldn't record for me. I think I didn't press the button. Anyway, and if you checked out my unboxing video, you will know I cut the cut files and printed the printables and had everything all stored together in my kit. So because of that, I felt I could do this cut file. So I pulled it out when I seen this photo and I was flipping through my album. I pulled it out and went, right, that's the title, that's the photo, and I'm just trying to work out what paper I want to back it onto as the main pattern paper, and I've decided on those two. I didn't want white background because I cut it in white cardstock and I wanted that differentiation. So instead I'm going with one of these pattern paper backgrounds. Haven't fully decided yet, but instead I thought I'd put the pattern paper in each of the letters of the word magic and then decide which stands out more on the background. So just going into the Project Life cards, my thought was, oh, they're smaller, like when you get a 6x6 pattern paper pad, the print is smaller. And then when I was going through them, I realized they're cut down 12x12 papers. That's a bit of a silly thought. It's this kit, but some kits we do get a 6x6 or a 6x8 pad. So, but that's okay because these prints were pretty good in terms of their size. And I've even used that blue piece of paper is one of the printable cards, just one of the color blocking ones. And I'm just having a play, trying to work out an idea of the color order. And of course, I change the color order when I stick it down. Now, this is probably the second, maybe third cut file I've ever done in the last four years of scrapbooking. In the recent, obviously, I did a little bit when my son was little, but we're not going to count that. Anyway, so I have no real idea instead. So I did it a couple of ways and I'm showing you here. So the first one was that I traced around the edge and then cut inside that line a little bit, hoping that it would be the right size, but I did have to cut a little bit more off it. So that's okay. Just gluing down that little part of the letter M, and you'll see you can just using the wet glue, one, because it's really thin, and two, it's easier to maneuver and get it stuck where it needs to be. And then I'm going to do, which one do I do next? The letter I think. So I use that little blue cup, this one here, which is packaging from the puffy stickers, I believe. And it's got a little bit of a print on it, so I'm going to use that for the letter I. And this is the other technique I did, and I sort of just went back and forth with how I did it when I glued them all down. So I'm just going to cut that. You do have to be super careful that you don't cut any of the strands of the cut file, but it worked out all right, thank goodness. So I am going to show you here. I'm just going to cut the excess off and then make sure that it all isn't overlapping. I didn't want that to be the case. Sometimes it wouldn't really matter, but today for this one, I felt it needed to have those little bits of colour that was sticking out chopped off. That was a weird sound outside. So there we go. You can see I've done 3 letters. I've done the letter A, and I even did the star in a different colour. And this is where I realised, and I was thinking the whole time, I don't like the overlap of the letters. So you can see the letter A has the outline overhanging the M. So I just went in with my scissors and chopped it off. And that way it looks like some of the letters are in the forefront and some are in the background. Now, that's just something that was more appealing to my eye. And I'm going to do that with the letter G here, this side of it. And then I do it with the other side of the G, but what I do is I cut it so the letter I is in the background. Just because I wanted to make sure that you could read the letters easily. But yeah, just to my eye, I didn't like that overhang. Anyway, we've come back and we've got all the letters backed here. And I've decided on this teal piece of cardstock as the background, and I wondered whether I wanted to back this collage photo. And it was not the way at all. It's already got a white border from when I printed it, and it's just much easier that way. So I just made that collage in PicMonkey, which is a website they have to pay a few dollars for. And that's the situation. Although this month I've actually swapped, instead of paying for PicMonkey, I'm going to pay for Photoshop, and that's how I do the printables. So that'll be different when I go to collage and edit the photos. I have to just work that out. Anyway, so I've put a whole pile of fun foam and even a bit of foam tape behind the Cutfile. So I put the foam tape behind the word just, so it didn't stick out too much. And I'm just sticking it straight down on top, making sure that it's not covering too much of the photo. And now I'm just going to work on decorating the page. But embellishing is probably the word we use in the scrapbooking community. Anyway, I thought it needed something up in the corner. Just a little something. It didn't need too much. And I'm going to use a little corner of this cut down card. And I'm just going to roll that edge up of the pattern paper. And that's going to be the little pop of interest to draw your eye everywhere across the page. And the good thing is, because I'm not cutting the whole edge of the paper, I can just line up two of those edges of that card and that way I know it's still 12 by 12 in size. So now I'm just going to go get stuck into the embellishments that we've got in the kit. I wondered whether this flourish, and it does work there, but I didn't want to add any more wood veneer, so I thought if I put that one there, I'm going to have to add more. So instead, I'm going to leave that for another layout. And I get stuck into, oh yeah, I wondered whether it needed a bit of double-sided tape up there just to hold it. But even though it looks good, when you look in certain angles, you can see that there's a big chunk of double-sided tape. So instead, I pull that off, and it will just have to do like that. Now, I just I grabbed a whole pile of these die cuts, and straight away that giraffe was like, yep, that's where I need to be. And so he stays there. I do glue him down, obviously. And then I found the llama, who is part of the exclusive cut-aparts, or not cut-aparts, but die cuts. And then I was just quickly going through the rest of the ephemera pack and the exclusives to see if there's anything else that I wanted. I do put this moon up the top, wondering if it needs that little pop sticking out from that cluster, or that, corner. Not really a cluster if it's just a rolled piece of paper, is it? And I pull out that pink tag, and it's got a little bit of a print on it. So I figure that's going to be the starting point for that bottom cluster down there. So I'm going to have that cluster at the top with the rolled paper, the cluster at the bottom with the M, and then where that giraffe is going to be the third little cluster. And that is how it all starts to come together. So I move that llama down there, I glue down this giraffe, of course dropping it, but I cleaned up that glue. And then so that's stuck there, I've committed to that. And I realised my star's not stuck down, I go to glue it and then realise the double-sided tape still had the backing on it, so of course it's not going to stick to anything. So ridiculous, I can't believe I did it. I pulled off all the rest of the backing, but apparently not that corner. That's crazy. Anyway, llama's down, tags down, and then I'm just looking for some other pieces to bulk it all out. I found this unforgettable. It gives that another hint, another big bold pop of the black. That's like the letter C that I did with the black. And then I'm just going to keep adding some more bits and pieces. I didn't want him stuck to the bottom there, so I'm just lifting him up. And then so I'm going to the puffy stickers. I found this rainbow and I put it down and I find the spot for it. And then after a bit I realised that's not what I wanted. There's a puffy sun. And it goes up the top because, the sun lives up the top. Put a little blue llama there because I figure I could get some crazy animals on here because Oliver it's been a bit crazy and wild in this photo. All these photos, I should say. And then I realised there's all these gorgeous stars. So I put on a whole pile of the puffy stars around in those areas. And I do put a few down with that letter, the bottom of the letter C, with that other big star there. Just because I like to, I didn't want to put hearts on there today. I didn't want to confuse the eye as such and have stars and hearts going on. It was just a star layout today. So I pull out the sticker sheet and the chipboard, and I'm looking to find if there's anything else I want. And I like this little tiger, maybe lion. He's cute, and I fight with it so much to get it to work. I move things, I reposition things, I move it, I put back, I really try, but it's too much orange all at once. And then, of course, so I try and add another giraffe, because apparently 2 pieces of orange needs to be 3. And then I try and work this out, but I position that first giraffe in like lower than before, so that llama covers up too much. I even try to move that giraffe, but he's glued down so well I don't want you to move him. And I think, oh, I could put it there, and this llama could go there, but it just doesn't want to work, and it all just ends up exactly where they were in terms of the animals. I don't know why I spent so much time. Sometimes you get something in your mind and you're like, yep, I've got a couple of animals on here, I better put a few more on there and use them up. But it didn't work. Just give it up, Lauren, give it up. So on he goes, and back the llama goes. So I'm just going to add a bit of finishing touches, some more of these stars, and these are the chipboard stars this time. So really, once the cut file was done, it just needed a few of the embellishment clusters, just like a normal layout. So it was like, I treated the cut file as the title, because obviously it is the title. And therefore, once the photo and the title were down, it was just really about embellishment clusters and finishing touches. So it is quite easy once you get that fiddly cut file part of it done. And this is not even a fiddly cut file. It was just, 5 letters and a couple of stars. And oh my gosh, my impatience was just low. Like, my impatience was high, actually. My patience was low. I got glue all over my fingers and had to wipe them heaps of times. And it worked well and it was fairly easy. But it was just more fiddly and more time than I normally spend. And so funny, because I'll get messy all day long with mixed media, but with this it was out of my comfort zone, that's for sure. Bit of glue on the photo, so of course I pull out a wipe and wipe it off, because this is printed with the selfie printer, so therefore I can wipe it off with a wipe. And I'm just going to add these stars here. So these are also from the cut file. Now I have a silhouette portrait, which means it only cuts 8.5 by 12, I believe, 8.5 by 11, like an A4 size of paper. So when the cut files come, they're in the 12 by 12 format. Virginia makes them that way because obviously that makes sense. So I just have to reposition them. So I made sure that these stars were still on the page and could be cut, because I figured there'd be a good chance that I would add them to the layout with this title. Now I'm just going to put that tassel sticker there. I really thought those tassel stickers were really cute when I was unboxing this video. So I put that there to build out that cluster, and then I knew that it just needed a couple of words just down the side there to finish that cluster, and that way those stars down the bottom of the C blend in with that cluster as well, and we're not getting 4 clusters going on my page. Just going to finish it off with one of these gold Heidi Swap labels. I'm going to add my journaling, and I'm pretty sure I don't go with anything else. Now, I know you would have seen me doing it. Up the top, I added that sticker with the words and then put the moon over top. I do add some stars up there as well, just to finish it off just like the other clusters. And then you'll be able to see the close-ups. And hopefully you can agree with me that it was worth the impatience and the fiddly playing around with the cut file. So I hope you enjoyed this video. I'll see you next time. Bye.